So I'm assuming most of the contracts that you sign up to are NZ3910
Yep.
with a boatload of special conditions attached to it. How fair do you think that contract is from your perspective as a contractor? One, is it a fair contract?
I think 3910 is the intent is to be fair, but it actually gets twisted around so much that it ends up being unfair. There's several reasons for that. It's not a reasonably complex contract.
It's quite simple.
But by and large, it's pretty good. I think what happens is the distortion created by special conditions, which are anywhere from 2 pages to 100 pages,
Yep.
which kind of negates the contract main itself. And secondly, the role of the engineer to the contract, which it's impartial role. We all get it, but this has been a bugbear for many years, and for many people that the engineer to the contract can't be impartial because he's usually paid most of the time paid by the principal.
Actually, more than
reports to the principal.
95% of the time he's paid for by the principal.
I don't know if the new 3910 review that's come out might have some changes in there. We haven't reviewed it yet.
Yeah.
But that sort of, whenever, it's always, a contract sort of seems adversarial in the generally. You get into a contract to deliver something. Everyone wants to do a good job, but just off the bat, everyone sort of doesn't seem like they really want to collaborate. They're sort of armed with contracts and all the conditions and everything like that. If you do this, well, we'll do this. It just kind of the good old days of just working together has sort of diminished and
100%.
gone.
So here are some of the key problems that I have with 3910. It does not promote collaboration. It passes risk downstream. That means the main contractor is passing the risk on to the subcontractors and further down to the procurement chain, all the way down.
Definitely,
That's shit downhill. And the third biggest problem that I have with NZ3910, it does not promote digital innovation.
In terms of just touching on that collaboration part, we've recently had a site meeting, and it's getting into a contract, etc., getting ready to start, and I just sort of thought that the project will start with RFIs. So you got a question, you send an RFI it all becomes faceless. So you send an RFI, someone on the other side will answer or not answer. When it's our own personal projects, we make sure that we actually have a pre-start meeting, and we invite our subcontractors on there. This is Bob, this is Greg. He's the electrician, he's so-and-so. It just helps to just shake their hand, have a coffee together, just talk about in general terms, what are the outcomes for this project? Not getting into very much specifics, just at a high level. That just everyone's guard comes down. I mean, you might have experienced that yourself. Like, you can email somebody, the tone of email is different, but once you've met the person face to face, then you know how they roll, what can you get away with? What can you just pick up the phone, talk to them about it?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's a 5-second answer, but you have to write an RFI formally, which someone else will reply formally. And you think, I just wanted to find the color of whether it was red or blue.
You're just starting a paper war there.
You start a paper war. And I suggested to the principal that, hey, look, why don't you organize a coffee on me with the key consultants, not every consultant, but mainly we deal with the civil, structural, architect, HVAC, fire, acoustics and things come in later. They don't have too much involvement once they've done their bit. So RFIs will start flying. As soon as you start site work, civil RFIs start flying, foundation starts going to the structural and so on. So why don't we just have a catch up and at least we know who are these people? We've got established a relationship. Then it softens up the collaboration. So when you do have a problem, you don't feel uncomfortable that you can actually pick up the phone, talk to them about it.
Yeah, and Yeah, interesting. Well, why do you think that is though? Why don't a lot of people have pre-start meetings?
It's just the culture that's been created. Everyone thinks that email is the best solution, and a paper war, everyone's covered, which is fine. There needs to be a paper trail, but I think, why are we just losing the face-to-face connection for the matter of a 15, 20-minute meeting to physically see somebody, greet them? It's sort of all being diminished, and you see this the sort of the old, you can say, the Maori and Pacific way of dealing with things, where they do actually like to sit face to face and communicate. That's one of their key drivers.
Is that fueled by NZ 3910?
I don't know, to be honest. I think
Could be part of your protection strategy, where you're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to
I'm
mitigate
not
your risk by passing it on to somebody else.
I'm not saying catch up and talk about technical things and just
No.
do it all verbally. I'm just saying, just the first step into the project should be with a face-to-face meeting. That who are these people? What's their involvement?
So on the jobs that you deal with, how many of those are?
Every job. Every job, we have a pre-construction meeting. I'm talking about subcontractors, because sometimes the consultants are the principals consultants. We're just doing a build contract, build only. But we definitely have our subcontractors on board and have a good solid meeting with concerns, just as a general chit chat
with the architect.
Yep.
The civil structural.
No, just the subcontractors, the actual plumbers, electricians, kind of thing. But in
you
terms
don't bring the architects and the consultants into the mix.
They basically are controlled by the client, and the client usually says, "Well, I'm going to get a bill for it." And you think, well, that's a bit narrow-minded.
You should be telling him that he's going to get a bigger bill if he doesn't let them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But I think that sort of thing, we actively now promoting early in the piece to the principal and say, well, look, we definitely this will definitely help the project. Yeah.
No, that's quite interesting views on NZ 3910 on collaboration and risk mitigation. Yeah.